Hello, boys and girls. In church, we have been looking at the letter of James in the New Testament, in God's own true word, the Bible. Now, James wrote a letter to various churches a long time ago, but the things that he says in his letter tells us great things today about how to live as God's friend in Jesus. Now, if we trust in Jesus, God, by his Spirit, is helping us to become more and more like him. All of us to become more like Jesus. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and mouth, and ears, and, well, everything. And this week, James looks at the way that we use our ears and our mouths. Now, ears and mouths, you might say, are they that important? Well, James says, absolutely. And then he shows us how to trust in Jesus using our ears and our mouth. First, let's look at our ears. How do we usually use them? Well, when we listen or we hear God's word, sometimes we're in a hurry. We're in too much of a hurry and don't really listen. Sometimes we may hear God's word, but we forget it. And sometimes God's word just seems to get stuck in our ear and doesn't go anywhere. It just kind of stays there and we don't do anything with it. Well, in verse 19, James tells us that we need to be quick to listen. We need to be quick to listen. And in verse 25, he says, we can't just listen to God's word and forget about it. It's like somebody looking in a mirror and forgetting what they look like. That's silly, isn't it? We need to listen to God's word and actually do it. Not just listen, but listen and do it. And he says actually, not listening and doing God's word makes you have a happy life, makes you be happy in all that you do. Well, next, James says that actually being part of God's family, trusting in Jesus, means that we need to be able to use our mouths to show Jesus' love. Well, how do we usually use our mouths? Well, we're fast with our words. We don't think before we speak. We let our words out that are many times not nice and sometimes angry. Well, James says in verse 19 to be slow to speak. Don't rush in with your words. Think about what you're saying. And not only think, but actually watch what you say. He says, keep hold on your tongue. Words can really hurt people. And if we trust in Jesus, our faith in him should show itself in love for others in the way that we speak, in the way that we use our words, by using kind and loving words. Let's practice using our ears and mouth this week, boys and girls, and showing that we trust in Jesus in the way that we use them, and showing his love in the way that we use them. Have a good day.